Hi, and thank you so much for joining me for day 26 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life. Today, the designer of the sketch that you can see in the top left-hand corner is T. Kaheki. I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced that. I will add the details in the description box down below. So I am going to create a companion page for the page I created the other day of Amelia making her wreath from Jobo Blooms that we created a few Christmases ago. This was back in 2020. So the first photo that I'm just trimming down now is of all the bits in the box that we received by mail, and the second photo is of the wreath on our front door. So I've printed both these photos 3x4. I put them onto a 4x6 photo mat using the Project Life app, and then printed them out on a 4x6 photo and trimmed them down. I cut them slightly smaller actually than 3x4 just to cut any lopsidedness from the photos. They didn't print that well. And then I went through my scraps box, which is what I'm going through now, and I've pulled out all the greens and also a bit of the pink and beige that I used in that other layout, which is from Simple Stories Winter Wonders or Winter Wonderland. I forget the exact name of it now. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It was only last year that came out and I can't remember. But all these scraps, are, as I say, are from my scraps box. So focusing in on the greens with a few browns and then that pink as well, and also that charcoal and white dot. That was the last tiny scrap I had left of that. And I'm just creating these vertical strips that T has across the page. I'm going to create almost like a banner running across the centre of the page. Now, I haven't done the strips that she's got at the top and bottom. I'm just focusing in on these pieces. I have got the title where she's got hers, and I've more or less got my embellishment clusters where hers are as well. So I am taking inspiration from the sketch and following it in a Sarah way, I suppose. So now I've got all of those scraps cut out, I'm just going to roughly position them across the page. Not all of these make it onto the layout, most of them do, and some of them I do trim down, like that pink piece. I tear it in half and just use half of it because it's a bit too long. So just working out roughly where they're going to go and where the photos are going to go. And I want to have it per the sketch with the photos sort of halfway down that strip of stripes or strips or banners or whatever you want to call them. And I decided that I wanted a block across the top just to define the end of those. So I'm using this stripy paper. This is from the Lakeside collection from Simple Stories. I've only got a scrap there, so I'm just using a little bit on either side. I say I've only got a scrap. I have got about 5 other sheets in my scrap box. This went in the sale and they didn't all sell, so I just kept it for me. I don't often do that, but I just love these black and white papers like that. So now I'm playing about with what I think is going to be my title. I pulled out that JD3D title that says adorable, and I'd also pulled out that something positive chipboard piece from Vicky Boutin's Fernwood. It doesn't make the cut in the end. The blue works really nicely with the blues in the spruce pieces in the box that Joe sent, but I just preferred the adorable piece a bit more. So just situating those two strips, making sure that they're straight by using my T-square ruler. The photos are going to go over the gap in the middle, so that really doesn't matter. And now I'm just arranging, once again, those scraps of paper all the way across the page. I know that I want the same paper beginning and ending those strips. So I've taken that one. I think that's from the, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It was like a safari collection that Simple Stories brought out last year. So all different papers here. This is why I love having a scraps box, and I don't tend to sort my scraps by colour. I never get it so that I have that many. I've just got a Western box. If you're in the UK, you'll know they're about 1 inch deep, and that's as much scraps as I'm allowed to use. So that's why I'm trying to tackle them at the moment, because it's pretty full. So just trying to make use of some of them to make room for more. Never ends, does it? So, I don't like to separate the colours because it restricts me. I wouldn't think to go in and pull some browns and blues with the greens, but because they're all in the one bin, I can see which colours went nicely together and just pull those out. And also, I do struggle. I don't know whether anybody else is like this, if I look at one paper and I can't tell whether it's a blue or a green, like all those different teals, at what point does it become green from blue? I really do struggle with that. So it's much easier if it's all just together, and then I don't have to make those silly decisions. And also double-sided papers, what do you do with those? I'd love to know. If you do sort by colour, do let me know what you do. Do you just choose the colour, the side that you prefer, and sort with that side, or how do you do it? So you can see I'm just working through these strips and sticking them down with my wet glue. I'm pretty happy with the positioning now. And then I'm trying to decide how to use that title. These JD3D wood titles, I do love to put up the side of a photo rather than having along the bottom, but decided that it would be better along the bottom in the end. You'll see that shortly. So this chipboard piece that I'm sticking to the left is an envelope with flowers in, and because this was a box by mail, so it's a flowers by mail if you like, it was a wreath by mail, I decided that that would work really nicely with these photos. So that's from Vicky Boot in Fernwood as well. And then this semicircle piece, oh my goodness, it's got create written on it, and it's a pinky red, and I was just determined to get it on this layout. And you'll see throughout the process I keep trying and trying. It doesn't work, but I do keep trying. See, here it is again, trying it on the right hand side. There is a little bit of that pinky red in the wreath, in the berries that Jo sent, so I think that's why I was trying it. And there's that chipboard title that I decided against. So on the left-hand cluster, you can see I've popped a little label, which is from the Hey Little Magpie printables that I just cut out, just a nice green. I've got that lovely grey puffy heart, one of our Flair badges, and I'm just trying to work out exactly how to arrange those. That's a little leaf that I've pulled out in a mauvey pink, and then I'm adding some of this linen thread in a red behind the Flair badge, just to bring that red across from, as I say, the berries that are in the wreath. So adding plenty of glue, because that linen really is quite stiff, the linen thread. It's almost like a wax thread. So I just want to make sure that it definitely stays down. Same with this puffy heart. So just tucking that leaf in there, and I decide that I want to bring another one in. I've got a little pot there you can see on the left hand side of just little bits and pieces I pulled out that I thought I might like to use on this layout. And these are the bits that I easily forget to add to my layout, so I thought if I pop them in a pot, hopefully it'll make me reach for them. So a little enamel resin dot from Hey Little Magpie, and also these faux suede hearts. I love these, and that's like a tealy blue. Works really nicely with the colours in that wreath. So now I'm gluing down this title. It says Adorable, and the title is actually going to read Adorable Wreath, but for now I'm just sticking that piece down. So it's starting to build quite nicely. On the original sketch, you can see there are 3 cluster places. Look, there's that circle again, that semicircle that I'm still trying to add in. There are 3 clusters. There's one bottom left-hand corner of the left-hand photo. There's one in the middle at the top, and there's one on the right-hand side. So I'm just going to start working on that cluster on the right-hand side now. So I've started off with a ticket from the 49 Market Ticket Essentials. So I've tucked that in there. And also, again, one of the Hey Little Magpie printables labels, a square one this time, just as it's almost like a mat to build the rest of the bits from. And now I'm looking through my Where To Next sticker sheets. This little folder, I saw Janet record the story. Janet, I don't know whether you've heard of her here on YouTube. She's got an amazing channel, and she has a Patreon channel that I'm a member of. And she showed how to make these fabulous folders to hold stickers and things in. So I took 5 minutes the other night and made myself one. So I've just got this popped on my desk. So I thought it would be fun to look through that to see if there was anything there. And there was, actually. I found 2 word strips. One that says excellent, that sits really nicely on that Flair badge. And then another one that says magic in these moments, which I've added onto that section on the right-hand side. So now this is another treat to myself today. These were the Colour Swatch Eucalyptus Laser Cut Elements. So I took these ones, and also the new Grove laser cut elements, which you'll see me bringing in a minute, because I thought these colours worked really nicely with these photos, and also they are definitely my colour palette, so I thought they'll be perfect to mix in with my other collections, and also to help me use up my scraps a bit more. So this semicircle doily is really nice as a base for this cluster on the right hand side, so just deciding exactly where I wanted to position it. It does end up there where I've put it now, and then I pull out a little leaf. It's like an ivy leaf cluster, And I try this in a few different places, but it does settle on the right hand side in the end, just there. And I love how that brings that bluey green down the page a bit. So next, a couple of these labels. First of all, one from the eucalyptus set, and then I do pull one out from the grove set as well, to layer up with that one, just to bring a bit more brightness into that corner, because I'm using a lot from this eucalyptus over there, and it's quite a dull colour. That gorgeous faux grosgrain ribbon bow tucks neatly underneath that flare badge. So just adding that and then pulling the leaf back over the top, just so that it all layers nicely. So this is the Grove laser cut elements. And as I say, I'm just going to pull a couple of bits out of this as well. So first of all, this label, I think about adding it to the left. I'm not quite sure why, because I've already got one there. So tuck that in on the right. And I love how those layer up. And I'd also pulled out from the eucalyptus that little word phrase strip that I've put above the black one, and that says sharing the good times. So I'm just having a play about on this left hand side now. I bring in another scrap from my scrap bin in green. That's from Bella Boulevard Besties, and also another piece of that striped paper. But I'm not quite happy with it. It looks really nice on the camera. I'm not quite sure what stopped me at the time. Maybe the green was a little bit too bright for me. But I do switch that out with this notebook piece from the eucalyptus laser cut elements. And this is a great way of using up your scraps. If you just treat yourself to a little bit of something new that you can mix in with them, it really makes everything feel bright and exciting again. So just tucking in that notepad piece, because so much of it was going behind all the elements that I've already stuck down, I decided to trim that off so that I can use it another day. And then a tab, of course, to have my date on in the future. And still playing about with that green piece. But in the end, I pull both the stripy piece and that green piece out and just settle with that. Think about the stripy piece there, but I do pull that out again. A lot of faffing again with this one. Look, there's that heart semicircle, still trying to fit it in somewhere. It's absolutely ridiculous. The colour doesn't really go with anything else on the layout, but because it said create and Amelia created this beautiful wreath, I just felt that I had to include it in the layout. It's crazy because, like I say, it definitely doesn't go. And I can certainly use it on a future layout. It's not like I'm never going to create anything again or document photos of us creating. I just don't know what was in me today when I created this. So fiddling and faffing, but it will be moved off shortly. So I'm just going to glue down these bits on the right hand side. I realised that they hadn't actually been glued down, so I thought it was probably high time to get things in place. So just messing around with that black sticker to make sure that it's straight. And then adding that other one above it. Like I say, it says sharing the good times. And I thought that was appropriate because Mum had come over as well to help Amelia, well, to supervise, shall I say, while she was making the wreath. But she was interested in how it worked as well. She was a teacher by trade and still thinks, oh, we could do that again. She wants to learn everything so that she can go back and recreate. So I just wanted to pop a little bit of this stripy piece above that photo, just to bring a little bit of black up to the top of the layout. Now I'm going to stick down this tab, and then I do bring in shortly a bit of that pink paper as well up to the top, because I've got that on the companion page, so I just wanted to make sure that that was in a couple of places on the layout. This is the alphabet that I used for the companion page, so I thought it'd be nice to bring that in. It doesn't show up terribly well, but it definitely shows up enough that I'm happy with it, and certainly in real life it shows up more than the photos, and you can see on the screen here. So I'm just spelling out wreath. I'm putting it wonkily across the bottom because the rest of the papers underneath it are wonky. I didn't want it to be straight. I wanted to have that movement. And then I'm just going to have a look through to see what else I can add. So having a look in my pot, and I find this little burgundy leaf, and I think that'll be nice. That's a perfect match to those berries on that wreath. So I'm just adding that in there. And that just fills up that little hole nicely where you could see a lot of that label. And then this leaf sprig, it's just bringing that pale blue over to that left-hand side a bit more. I'm really happy with how that looks. So just getting that situated. and then a little moth or butterfly. I'm not sure which one it is. I think I'm going to add it to the left, but in fact I end up popping it down on the right hand side next to that doily, and it just stretches that line out a little bit more. So thinking it's going to go up here, but then I move it and there, it's much better down there. So just adding a bit of glue just to the body and leaving the wings free. And then I add some journaling to that little notebook paper at the top, and it just simply says Amelia's Wreath in all its glory. There's the pink paper that I mentioned I was going to add at the top, just as another layering piece tucked in there. And now I'm just going to go across all the bottoms of these strips and rough them up with my fingernails. It just adds a bit of texture and lifts them up off the page. I'm really pleased with how that looks. I didn't bother doing the sides of the papers. I didn't want too much texture on it, but just doing those bottoms really does make a difference. And look, my eyes are going all the time because I was looking in the pot for something else to add to that top left hand side. It doesn't need anything. So coming in with my roller date stamp now, as I say, onto that top tab. At first I tried stamping it in spun sugar, which is the pink I'd used on the companion page, but it just doesn't show up enough. So it gives a little shadow on there, but I do come in with my archiver link and stamp that properly in the archiver link. And I don't need to add any more journaling because, as I say, it's all on the companion page, which will be next to it in the album. So the last thing I'm going to do is cover up the photos, add some splatters with that spun sugar, again to bring that over to this page, and also some gold, and that's it. So please do check the description box down below for everybody who's joining in on this hop, and also check out the Facebook group, which is Christie's 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life on Facebook. And other than that, I shall see you tomorrow for day 27. Thanks so much for joining me. See you then. Bye.